some good bedhead there, buddy.
I know, Pops. Did you get some good sleep?
Rami was born with an extremely rare genetic disorder. He's one of 100 known cases. And then I'm just putting on his hearing aid. So he wears a little headband with a device, and this device basically takes in sound and vibrates the bone of his skull, so it bypasses the middle ear bones and allows him to hear. I know, buddy. Normally he wakes up with like a huge smile on his face. We just feel really lucky that we get to have the normal moments with him, because there was a point in time when we weren't sure if we'd ever get that.
I'm Ali Kandil. This is my wife, Audrey Kandil.
Hi. Rami has Cerebro-costo-mandibular syndrome. He was born with his jaw pushed so far back, he wasn't able to get an intubation tube into his throat this way, so they actually trached him while he was still attached to my placenta.
Even for Cincinnati Children's, it's rare.
When I met them, was in the setting of these fetal team meetings. So sometimes these babies are delivered, they need a tracheostomy. But when you see different organs affected, putting all these constellations of things, you say, okay, something genetic is going on.
We sort of knew that something was going on when I was pregnant, because I went into labor at 27 weeks, and our fear is, oh my gosh, if we have this baby at this different hospital, is he going to survive the delivery? Are they prepared to deal with potentially tracheing him? Will they be able to intubate him?
The answer was they were not. I mean, you're coming to Cincinnati Children's right now. Everybody needs to mobilize. There's an emergency. Rami's gonna be born today. We need everybody, all of the specialists that can save this kid's life, ready to go, because we weren't sure if she was gonna deliver him that day.
It's an excellent exercise of teamwork and coordination. So everybody knows what's the role. This is not a program that can be done by one surgeon. It should be by people that is working very hard and is working together.
From the second we found out, there was this comprehensive, multidisciplinary plan that literally was mobilized. These are world-class surgeons, doctors, and they're in our backyard in Cincinnati at Cincinnati Children's. You know, innovative things like that, that's just one example, is kind of what differentiates a place like Cincinnati Children's from a place that would have been otherwise overwhelmed by a child like him. This right now, what we're doing right now, is because we were at Cincinnati Children's. And I knew that in my heart of hearts, we were in the right place.
Can you go to the toy store? When I first found out Rami had micronathia, I was still pregnant. I looked up other moms on Instagram who have kids with cerebro-costo-mandibular syndrome. And I found a whopping 2 people. And the one mom lives in France, and she says, well, you know, there's a Facebook group for us. Can I make a post about his ribs? Because he seems to have like a more severe case. And so I'm like, okay, has anybody ever heard of this? Ethan Sperry, this man, comments on it and says, small world. And I went and clicked on his profile. I was like, small world, I don't know what he's talking about. And I message him and ask him about his experience. And he says, I'm actually a genetics fellow at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and I have cerebro-costo-mandibular syndrome.
The first thing that went through my mind is that kind of the flood of all the memories of kind of my own family and what they went through and what that whole process is like. My experience and his experience were fundamentally quite similar, but we have modern technologies and modern ways of approaching these patients that are informed in part by early and accurate genetic testing. Anytime I'm wondering why I do what I do, I remember kids like Rami, and it's been a true joy to watch his development. That is very reassuring, and it gives me the knowledge that he has gotten the best care that he could have gotten. Rami's a happy and healthy little boy. He's gonna be able to do anything and everything he wants to do.
Everything is so emotional for us, because every time he does something new or reaches a new milestone, it doesn't, you know, leave our brain that we almost didn't get this moment and we almost didn't get to bring him home. He plays, he laughs, he smiles, he cries, he does all the normal baby things. He just breathes different than you and I. He just needs an extra hand along the way.
It's so cool to see the world through his eyes.
Prior to having Rami, we had a lot of really good experiences together, and we got to a point where we're like, we want to share this with a little human. Now everything is so much more fun with him because we get to see it through his eyes. When we first got his diagnosis, I was really not hopeful about his outcome and what our life would look like. Cincinnati Children's means everything to us. It gave us life with our son. It makes me speechless thinking about how much they've done for us because I couldn't imagine a world without our son.
We're lifers in Cincinnati now because the best thing that we have in our lives is because of the care we got from them.
Cincinnati Children's is the one that gave Rami a fighting chance.